Here with Coach Scott Goodale, Rutgers head wrestling coach. Coach, thanks for taking the time to talk to True Wrestling.
Thanks for having me, my man.
Haven't talked to you since the end of last season. I wanted just to catch up a little bit. You guys, first year Big Ten last season, hosted a bunch of top 20 teams. Tremendous fan turnout. Can you tell me a little bit about what that season was like coming in? Murderers Row, Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa. I mean, sold out crowds.
Yeah, obviously it was very challenging. Obviously the crowds are great. We want to get to the point where we're starting to win with those crowds. But it was definitely a challenge. First time in the conference. We've wrestled Big Ten teams before. We've never wrestled 9 of them in a season. So that was difficult. It was difficult for our guys, our staff. But at the same time, it was an unbelievable challenge that we kind of accepted and looked forward to week in and week out. The crowd showing up, I think we all understand the New Jersey wrestling fan is a passionate fan and they love this sport. So it was exciting for them, to see them come out. And in a lot of spots, we wrestled really, really well. And at the end of the day, we didn't win those dual meets. But, moving forward, I think it's put us in a great spot to do that down the line. But it certainly was a challenge. It was a lot of fun. It was there were some great atmospheres. There were some nights where that place was really, really rocking. It's exciting to be able to tell recruits, and to be honest about it, we wrestle in front of 5,000 to 6,000 people night in and night out. So that was exciting. Again, at the end of the day, we want to get our hand raised.
So sometimes, New Jersey gets overlooked in the Mid-Atlantic as, maybe not as dominant wrestling-wise as Pennsylvania, but you got a passionate fan base. You got 2 guys on the world team out of the state of New Jersey that were high school guys. You got Burroughs and Green. You're in a hotbed of wrestling, and the attendance and the turnout last year, I mean, you vaulted into the top 10 for attendance. Can you talk about the passion of Jersey wrestling fans and Rutgers wrestling fans?
Yeah, there's a lot of it. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of with that comes expectations, right? So there's these fans, they want to see a great product, and when you're winning, everything's great, and when you're not winning, there's some heat, which is good though. There's expectations. Who wants to be involved in this if there's not those expectations? So I think our guys and our staff take that head on. That's part of where we're at, part of the position where we've put ourselves in. It's an opportunity, to night in and night out, to I guess say, put on a pedestal, so to speak, and you're the match in town, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I've always told our guys, why would you want it any other way? To wrestle in front of 25 to 50 people at this level isn't fun. And we've done that in the past. We've done that on the road in a couple atmospheres, and it's not fun. So here we are, night in and night out, all eyes on them, so to speak, and we better wrestle well. We better compete really, really hard. Otherwise, the New Jersey wrestling fan and the Rutgers wrestling fan, they're not going to be happy. And I think that's great. There's expectations behind this program, and we understand that we're wrestling for them as well, and they want to see a good product night in and night out.
So you covered a bunch of the challenges of last year. Are you guys doing anything differently? You've been through one Big Ten season. The schedule's a little different this year. Maybe, not, I don't want to say not as hard a schedule, but I mean, you guys had a lot of tough dual meets at home last year. Anything else that you guys are prepping differently for this season than last year?
I think our staff, Donnie and John and Joe Pollard and myself, I think we sit down at the end of every year, right? Or maybe sometimes in the middle of the year and say, what can we do differently? How can we tweak things? I don't believe our preseason has been any different than it was last year. I think we have some really good guys that have high aspirations and some pretty heavy goals. But I don't know how much we're changing. I know we worked on a lot of things in the summertime and important to positions. We failed that during the course of matches last year. But I think we were satisfied with the way we competed last year, the way we wrestled. You're always going to tweak things, right? You're going to look at your program as a whole, and we all self-examine ourselves, and that's part of our job. But so far, not much has changed. I think we just had a better offseason. I think our guys are bigger and stronger. I think they're better wrestlers. I think there's a year of maturity. That certainly helps. And I think we had more freshmen on campus than ever before. So they came to camp prepared to go and ready to go, and that's expectations behind them. So all that has made us better. And like you said, as far as our schedule goes, we're not going to wrestle 1, 2, 4, and 5 in the country, at least it doesn't look like that. Looking at our schedule, because we miss Penn State, we miss Ohio State, we miss Illinois, and we miss Northwestern in our Big Ten conference. So we get some other schools. I don't want to say it's not as hard, but we're certainly, we're not going to have Iowa, Minnesota, Ohio State, Penn State back to back to back. So, again, it's not going to be easy, but we feel we can do well in this conference this year.
Nice. So we want to talk a little bit about the culture of the team. You've had back-to-back years with All-Americans, Parati, Ashnault. You got a bunch of talented freshmen coming in. Can you tell me how the culture is evolving, how you're molding the team?
Well, I think our your culture is always evolving, right? You're always trying to get a great culture where guys are here for all the right reasons. In reality, it's college. They're 20-year-old, 18 and 21-year-old guys or adults, whatever you want to call them. But so you always got to have your finger on the pulse of that situation, and that's certainly important to the staff. It's something we work on every single day, and we talk about every single day. I think, like you mentioned, having that first All-American was huge because then the next guy wants to do it. And then it got to the point last year where I don't want to say we left the national tournament disappointing. Obviously Ashnault's injury, we felt he would have went much higher. But the reality is he was an All-American. That's great for him, but we felt he would have done better, and he felt that. So it went from now having a back-to-back All-Americans to like we felt we could have done better at that tournament. And now everybody wants to join what Anthony, or both Anthony's, but what Anthony Parati did and what Anthony Ashnault did. Who wants to be the next guy? And then I guess from a staff standpoint, a program standpoint, it's about putting 2 or 3 guys on that podium, and not just one guy. It's got to be 2 or 3 because now we're searching something totally different right now as a program, and that's trying to get into that top 15, top 10 discussion year in and year out. And that's kind of where we stand as a program and a staff right now.
So you're in the Big Ten. You've got back-to-back All-Americans. You got a really talented freshman class. Do you have a recruiting strategy to bust out a little bit, or tell me what your thoughts are with this exposure?
The Big Ten, a lot of people ask me wherever I go, that's the number one question. How has the Big Ten helped recruiting? Well, it's helped recruiting because we're going after the best guys in the country. You can't, years past we get the second, the third, and maybe they are the best guys down the road, but we're trying to recruit the best guys in the country that we feel can score points in the national tournament. Those guys are hard to get. The reality is we're recruiting up against the best schools in the country, the best not only Big Ten schools, but the Ivy Leagues have great programs. The ACC's got great programs. Not so much dealing with the Pac-10, but for the most part, when we're recruiting against a school, it's against one of the best top 10 teams in the country. So it's gotten harder. We can't survive on just getting the kid from down the road because he's got some decent credentials and he's from New Jersey. This kid we're recruiting now has got to fit our mold, fit our character traits, and really our staff needs to believe that they can win at the highest level. So you may see state champs maybe we pass on because maybe there's not a great work ethic. They're just super talented, but they're maybe missing that intangible. So it's changed in that way, but we're going after the best kids. It's not to say we weren't going after the best kids always, but the reality is being in this conference allows us to be in those discussions. And we spent a lot of time with the best kids in the country, and it's shown so far. We've signed or got commitments from 3 of the top 100 guys in the country so far, whatever that means, rankings, right? But that means they've done something right. So, and we're on a couple more that we feel good about. So we'll see where we're at with that. But recruiting's been very, very difficult because, again, we're going against the best schools in the country.
Definitely. You've already alluded to goal of having a couple guys on the podium at the same finals and nationals. Can you tell me what are your team goals beyond that this season? Dual season, maybe the conferences.
Yeah, it's not that it's a big secret, but we do have some team goals that our guys have discussed and talked about, and we've talked about as a staff in our program, and allowed our guys really to come up with our team goals. So I won't divulge, too much about what we're planning. I don't want it to sound too outlandish, but we have some high aspirations for this program and this team this year. So, I can tell you that. I can tell you one of the big things we're excited about is being a top 8 team in our conference, which qualifies us for this new bowl championship series that the NWCA has or national duels, whatever the case might be, whatever they're calling it. But that's something we feel like if we can be a top 8 team in our conference, then we're a top 15 team in the country, and we'll be wrestling in one of those bowl championship series. You know, we have the Midlands in front of us, which is a really important tournament that we feel it's middle of the year, and it's a good peak and phase for us, and it's a tournament we really want to excel at and do well. So that's part of our goals, and of course the Big Ten tournament and qualifying guys to nationals and All-Americans, that all fits into our goals for the season. It's got, you know, stuff we've written down and have pasted on our locker room and things like that. So we'll keep some of them in-house, but you can imagine where we're looking right now. We're not going to be satisfied with one All-American, and we're sending just 4 or 5 guys to the national tournament. I'll tell you, you know, the dual meet season is important to us, and certainly the Big Ten tournament, national tournament are extremely important as far as goals go.
So you've also mentioned a little bit about kind of, you know, the culture of the room as far as maybe not getting state champion if he's not working that hard, or more natural talent. Can you tell me a little bit about just the culture of the team?
It's a good culture right now. You know, I think for the first time, and maybe since I've been here, I think we got, I don't know, I don't want to give a percentage, but there's guys in this room that truly believe they could become All-Americans and win national titles. I don't know if that's always been the case. I know we got a couple guys that truly believe it would be disappointing if they weren't an All-American / national champ. And then, of course, we have guys, you know, guys like Ashton who truly believe they should win a national title. So that's what these guys are training for. And it's not just 1 or 2 guys now. We're up to 4 or 5, 6 guys that truly believe they're in the thick of it when you start talking, you know, a high placing at the national tournament. So that's where all that changed. And you don't need a coach to be getting on them so much. They're self-motivated guys right now that are doing a lot on their own. There's a lot of individual work that goes into it. It's not just 3 o'clock every day in the practice room. But, you know, you go down there at any point during the day, and there's people in there working from an individual standpoint on their skills and their conditioning, and just because they believe that they should be wrestling at this level. So that's changed, man. There's always been 1 or 2 guys we felt good about going into a season. And I remember back in 2011, I think we had 3 guys in the round of 12. They had those same traits where they trained, and we lost all those matches, unfortunately, and nobody broke through. But they had those same traits. And now you're seeing 7, 8, 9, 10 guys that truly believe that they should be in the discussion when you're talking about All-American, national, and championship type accolades. So I think, you know, leaders lead by example. The guys that are in there doing that are doing a great job, and that just carries over to the 30 guys on this team. Nobody wants to be that guy that's left behind. So that being said, everybody's training hard, right? It's September, early October. It's an exciting time. It's preseason. We really find out about these guys come, you know, October 10th is our first practice Saturday. And then we get into wrestle-offs and things like that. You're going to find out about how guys handle adversity and if they truly believe in the goals they've written down. So we'll see all that. But right now, the culture is really, really good.
Nice. Last year was also the first season you had Donnie Pritzloff, Jersey high school wrestling legend. Can you tell me about his impact on the team over the last year?
Donnie's pretty special, man. He's about as good as it gets, and I'm glad he walked out of the room right now because I feel uncomfortable talking so highly about him.
It's in the room, huh?
Yeah. But, no, he's pretty special, and he's I consider him another head coach. You know, we're fortunate. We're in a great situation. We work with each other. There is no ego here. I believe in everything he believes in. He's got a great way of training, a great way of dealing with certain individuals, and he's just great to be around. I learn every day. You know, I'm a 43-year-old coach. I've been at this for a long, long time. I've been coaching for 16 seasons now, including high school. The fact that I can walk into my office every day and learn, and then walk into the wrestling room and learn, is pretty special. You know, I'm fortunate that way. Not everybody gets that. I get that. I think with Coach Leonardis and Joe Pollard as well, we're bouncing ideas off each other to make this program great. And it's something that is truly important to us. You know, it's our family. It's a hard day's work, and it's Rutgers wrestling for us. And it's really what it's all about. And Donnie's been great. You know, he's a great recruiter. He's a great person, you know, first and foremost, and somebody you can trust. And loyalty is extremely important to me. And he has all those. Our whole staff has those qualities. So, but he's certainly been great. I look forward to what this program is going to be about 5, 6, 7 years down the road. I know it's a special place, and I know we're going to do special things.
I want to go back to something you touched on earlier about the bowl championship national duels. Do you have any thoughts on this where you would like to see the NCAA go with the duels and championships and combining or not?
I don't know where all the coaches stand. We go into these meetings and it's like a 50-50 split. The bottom line for me, I'm a dual meet guy. I love the dual meets. They have to be relevant. They need to be important. We love dual meets. Like I said earlier, we wrestle in front of 5,000, 6,000 people. That's got to be important. It's got to mean something. It should mean something. And I think we're trying to gear it towards where the dual meet. There's got to be some type of finality to the dual meet season. I was never a big fan about it's all the last 3 days of March. I get that's what I'm going to be judged on. That's what this program is always going to be judged on. You're All-Americans, you're national champs, but there's got to be. We go back to last year. I think Missouri had one heck of a wrestling season. It was an unbelievable wrestling season. They should be rewarded for that. Now, I'm not talking about points at the national tournament. I don't agree with that. But they should be rewarded as the #1 team in the country from a dual meet standpoint. Coach Smith's done an unbelievable job making dual meets important. They absolutely should be rewarded. And then Ohio State should be rewarded for winning a national title. So for me, the dual meet should count. When I was a high school coach, the finality was the high school team states. It was a very big deal. There's no reason why that shouldn't be important in college. Coaches feel it's too close to your qualifier. Me, I totally disagree with that. Wrestling is wrestling. If it's important, you make it important, and I think we need to do more. And we're starting to. This is the first step with the national duels or the World Championship Series, whatever the case might be. But for this program, that'll be very, very important.
Okay. The Scarlet Knight Wrestling Club just recently added Tyler Groff, Big Z, and Josh Demas. Can you tell us a little bit about the club, what your vision for it is, and how those guys have helped the guys on the Rutgers team this season so far?
Yeah, I think just like anybody else, right, we're trying to bring in more workout partners, right? You bring in recruits, what do they want? Who am I going to work out with besides the coaches on the staff? Because there's only 4 that are allowed per NCAA rules. So I don't know if there's an arm race, but if you look at the best teams in the country, Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, Hawkeye Wrestling Club, we can go on and on and on. Finger Lakes Wrestling Club. They all got workout partners. They all got guys training and still competing on that senior level, that Olympic level. And that's just exactly what we're trying to do. Are we behind the times a little bit? Yeah, because we only have 3 of them. But our Rutgers Wrestling Committee has done a great job raising funds. We're able to pay these guys and bring them in and start our RTC program and give places like Tyler Graff and Big Z and Josh a place to train if they want to choose to pursue these Olympic dreams. And obviously Tyler Graff, that's somebody who's on the ladder and doing really, really well, and he loves the situation here. And it helps our guys seeing the way he lives his life, the way he trains. I think it's good for all of us. So that's kind of the mindset behind the RTC at Scarlet Knight Wrestling Club and what we're trying to do. And we're going to get bigger and better at it and give these guys a really neat atmosphere to train and achieve all their goals at the senior level.
Okay. Segue into this, can you tell me how Rutgers views wrestling as a sport?
Great question. They love it. They love the sport here. Our administration loves the sport here. Why wouldn't they, right? They, from a revenue standpoint, they see 5,000, 6,000 people walking through the turnstiles. We do a good job with that. We do a good job of raising money. We do a good job of raising money for our scholarships and putting people in the stands. And we feel like we could be a revenue-making sport. We're close. We're closing that gap. Obviously, the Big Ten has certainly helped with the crowds we have drawn. But
can you be specific about the revenue generating, like how close you are?
I would say we're a lot closer than we were 3 years ago to being point, at the 0 mark. We're pretty close, and it's maybe 1 or 2 major donors away from making that happen. That's probably about as specific as I can get with really being, totally accurate. But as a goal of the staff, we want to get it to that point where it costs them nothing to run this program, and they're allowing us to do a lot of things. And I don't want to say we're the focal point of this athletic department, but we're pretty important on the pecking order, right? Your football and basketball will always drive the engine, but wrestling more so than ever is mentioned and put out there in the forefront and is involved in speaking engagements and is involved in appearances, whatever the case might be, more so than ever, because wrestling is important to this administration, and that's kind of great to see.
That's great to hear, too. It's been kind of fashionable right now in the Division I college scene to try and endow a program. Is that something that you guys are working on?
Not right now. In our first couple of years, that's something Coach Leonardis and myself really tried to look into and pursue. They don't want to do that right now. They want it, what we're doing now as far as our new facility that's going to be built pretty quickly, and scholarships. They just want upfront now, 5-year, 6-year plan, and we go from there. So we've got away from the endowment part of it. We're in good shape when it comes to scholarships, obviously fully funded and continuing to raise money towards those. But right now it's about our facility as well. So all that stuff's important, and we kind of got away from the endowment.
Gotcha. Can you tell me a little bit about the new facility?
Yeah, brand new facility. Last time we talked, it's been it's supposed to be 16 months. It'll be state-of-the-art, one of the best in the country, format, or whatever, really. It could be formats. It's all going to be up to us what we decide to do with the space. But it'll be one of the biggest and best in the country with over on the Livingston campus, which if you're familiar with Rutgers wrestling, it'll be near the rack. It'll have our coaching offices over there. It'll have a training table for student athletes over there. It'll be in the same building as the basketball practice facilities. We'll have our own weight room, which will be 8,000 square feet. So it's about as good as it gets. Like I said, we're trying to keep up with everybody else and being in this conference. I think our administration have been on the road and seeing, best facilities there are in the country, and we want to be right along in that discussion. So that's what's coming, and we're excited about it, and we can't wait to break ground. And from what we understand, 16 months away. So we'll see how that turns out.
Gotcha. So we've talked about goals, and that's one of the structural things that supports those goals. Is there anything else that's in the works that's a structural piece to the program that you see coming up?
Well, I think right now it's about that facility. And I don't, I'm kind of a blue-collar, old-school type guy. I love where we're at right now. I know we need more space. We're down in a basement. We've been down there since the early 1900s. We've done some things with it. We made it nicer. We've done it better. It's our own building. So for me, I love it. The reality is we need a new facility because of what everybody else has and because of the way these recruits look at things now. And it's nice, right? And it shows there's a commitment to the program. So right now, that's our biggest structural thing that we got going on is that facility. And that's where we're at with that. Of course, the rack will continue to make that great fan experience for the fans, a great home match experience, and we'll continue to work on that every single day. When you show up to the rack, it's an event. It's an event. That's kind of the way we go about it.
It's nice. It's a good event. People should get down there and check it out. Is there anything else you want to tell the Rutgers fans?
No, I think that's it. I think there's excitement, right? There's excitement in this state. There's excitement around the state, not just New Jersey, but PA and New York, and we just can't wait to kick it off. We're ready to go, and we'll open up November 1st here at home and get after it. And I think everybody, along these lines is ready to start the college wrestling season.
Hey, Coach, I appreciate you taking the time.
You got it, my man. Thanks.